One of the lessons I try to share with other entrepreneurs is, pre-sell everything, right? Before you build that course, test your audience. Is it something that they actually want? Because, I spent hours and hours and hours filming video, making content, and I've sold the course and it's helped people podcast, but PodDecks, usurped that, 100 times over because the marketplace told me what they wanted. They told me what they didn't want, which was the course. And then they told me what they did want. And I created more of that. And, I could share how I actually built the company with you if you're interested from a minimal viable product standpoint, the old MVP, right? So I think what most people tend to think when they start a business is that they need to run out and press thousands of shirts or thousands of product, and they need to have all this inventory. I started PodDecks by pressing 10 decks of my product. And I did that specifically. I paid a lot of money because it was such a low threshold for my manufacturer, but I wasn't going to risk, investing, tens of thousands of dollars in a product that I wasn't sure that was going to go the extra mile. So I always tell people, if you're thinking about starting a product, make one. Show it to people and see if people will actually put their credit card in your website to buy it from you. Because there's a big difference between people saying oh yeah, I would definitely buy that. And then when it comes time to actually purchasing it. And so by doing that, I set myself up to just slowly scale the business up and buy in bigger quantities and then eventually make that profit, as opposed to accidentally sitting on thousands of decks that nobody wanted. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I'm really glad you said that, because I've been getting ready to start a course. I wanted to launch some digital courses of myself. And I kind of had that same mindset, because I was like, okay, I can spend hours and hours doing the video, the editing, all the stuff to put this course together. And then I was like, what if nobody buys it?
Yep, exactly. So I do this with everything now. I make t-shirts, podcaster t-shirts. I make hats. I don't make anything until somebody pays me for it, because there's too much risk as an early entrepreneur in investing too much money in something that you're not 100% sure people are going to take action on. And I think it's very important for anybody to lower their risk and test businesses. I've had many businesses over my lifetime, many of which have failed. And it's okay. I'm super cool with it. I'm like, hey, I learned a little from this that's taken me here. But don't be afraid to get out there and test things on the marketplace before you invest. And, everyone runs out and makes a business card, right? You need a business card. Well, you need customers before you need a business card. That's sort of the thought process there.
Yeah. And this everything that we're talking about here is such incredible timing, because I actually just started reading The Lean Startup. And that's a lot of what that book talks about, is testing that minimal viable product, get something out the door. It doesn't have to be your finished product. It's going to change. And I literally just started that book today. So that's really funny.
That's great. It's a great read. You'll love it. And the idea behind that book is that you ship early, right? Meaning you ship a product early and then you let the marketplace tell you what they want improvements on. Instead of trying to figure everything out and make a perfect product, just ship it. And then have people, I get feedback all the time. Hey, your shrink wrap's too tight. Can I get them digitally? All these things. And then that makes me think, okay, great. How can I get this to people digitally? Great. Everyone has a phone. Let's make a mobile app, right? So it allows you to grow with the business instead of trying to build this perfect business all at once. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And I think a lot of people, when they start this business, they have an idea. They're trying to build a complete product. They're trying to make it perfect, and it's never perfect. So then you continue building, and you never release anything. And then all of a sudden you release it and it's a total bust. And it's like, why isn't anybody buying this? I made sure that this thing was perfect. And exactly what you're saying is what back in, I think it's episode 18 with Ray Blakeney, he mentioned, I think it was Jack Dorsey with Twitter. He said something to the effect of, if your first iteration of your product doesn't suck, then you waited too long to launch.
Yep,
and after I heard that just stuck with me. It's like, yeah, you just need to get something out the door and get feedback, because the market's going to tell you exactly where to go. But if you don't have anything to launch, you don't have anywhere to get feedback on.
Exactly. And feedback is everything. With podcasting, I coach a lot of podcasters. With business, the audience is the most important part. And like, if you think that your product should be a pink bicycle, but everyone wants a black bicycle, but you love that pink bicycle, you're not thinking with the right, and that's a terrible analogy, by the way. You're not thinking with the right mindset. Your product isn't you. And I do believe that you should make things that you want to use, but in some capacity, unless you're going to buy all of it, you need to listen to what the marketplace wants.
Yes, I love it.